So, you're thinking about MIT. That's awesome. But let's be real for a second. Getting in is one of the toughest academic challenges on the planet. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on a really big piece of that puzzle, the SAT.
First things first, let's just start with the number that says it all. 5%. That's it. That is the acceptance rate at MIT. It's incredibly selective, and that one number really sets the stage for just how competitive this is going to be.
With competition that fierce, the real question becomes, how on earth do you stand out from the crowd? You know, a huge part of the answer is understanding exactly what MIT is looking for, and that conversation has to start with their testing requirements.
Okay, Section 1, the MIT Admissions Challenge. And it's not just about that percentage. It's about the sheer volume of incredibly talented people you're up against.
That 5%, it gets even more real when you see the numbers behind it. We're talking almost 27,000 applicants, all fighting for fewer than 1,300 spots. That is the scale of the competition we're dealing with.
All right, Section 2, the SAT. It's required. And this is a really big deal, because unlike a lot of other top schools, MIT has a very firm stance on this. You know, during the pandemic, the whole test optional thing just exploded. It felt like almost every university was doing it. But MIT, they went in the complete opposite direction. After a short break, they brought the SAT and ACT requirement right back. This is a huge signal about how much they value this information.
So why? Why go against the grain like that? Well, according to MIT's own research, they found that these test scores are actually the best predictor of a student's success in their super tough, fast-paced classes. For them, it's all about making sure you're ready to thrive once you get there, not just survive. On to Section 3, decoding the score ranges. So, if the test is required, what kind of scores are we actually talking about here? Let's get into the specifics.
Okay, take a look at these ranges. Now remember, this is the middle 50% of students who got in, and these scores are already in the top 1 to 2% of all test takers in the world. A composite score somewhere between 1520 and 1570 is pretty typical. But look a little closer at the individual section scores. That's where the real story is. And boom, here it is. This chart makes it crystal clear. Just look at that math score range, 780 to 800. A perfect or near-perfect math score isn't just an advantage, it's practically the standard. This tells you everything you need to know about MIT's focus on quantitative, STEM-ready skills from day one.
All right, Section 4, your edge, Superscoring explained. Now, those scores can seem pretty daunting, I get it, but MIT offers a huge strategic advantage to help you reach them.
So, what is this thing called superscoring? It's actually really simple, and it's fantastic for you, the applicant. MIT will look at all of your test dates, take your single best math score and your single best reading and writing score, even if they happened on different days, and smush them together to create your highest possible score.
Here's a perfect example of how this works. Let's say on your first try, you kill the reading and writing section with a 780. Awesome, but your math is a 760. Then you take it again, and this time you nail a perfect 800 on the math, but your reading score dips a bit. MIT doesn't care. They take the 800 from your second test, the 780 from your first test, and give you a fantastic 1580 superscore. This is why retaking the test can be a really smart strategy.
And that brings us to our final section, beyond scores, the holistic view. Because as absolutely critical as that 1580 is, believe it or not, it's not the only thing that matters.
And this is coming straight from them. MIT uses what's called a holistic review. Yeah, the scores are a super important factor they use to check if you're academically ready, but they are just one piece of a much bigger evaluation.
I think the best way to think about it is like a puzzle. Your SAT score is a critical piece. You know, maybe it's one of the corner pieces that helps frame the whole thing. But MIT wants to see the entire picture. They need to put all the pieces together to really understand who you are.
So what are these other pieces? Well, they're looking at things like, did you take the hardest classes you could? What do you do outside of school that shows you're passionate and you take initiative? How do you talk about yourself in your essays? And what do your teachers say about you? All of these things build out that complete picture of you as a person.
Which brings us to the final and maybe the most important question you should be asking yourself as you put together an application for a place like MIT.
And the answer is a clear, definite no. At MIT, a great test score is a required chapter, for sure, but it is not the whole book.
They want to read your entire story. So the real question is, what are your other chapters going to say?